Good evening, everyone. I'm Oscar, and this is Tech Tribe Podcast, where we build a tribe of tech leaders. Our guest for tonight is Miss Rose Fianga. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening and good evening po sa lahat. Magandang gabi.
So before we continue on the podcast proper, kanina nagkwentuhan kami ni Ma'am. How should I call you? Rose or?
Yeah, you can call me Rose.
Okay. So before we start our this podcast, nagkwentuhan kami kanina ni Miss Rose about paano ko siya nakilala, paano ko siya nagkita. Here's the short story. So napag-usapan na rin naman namin. So I'm browsing the LinkedIn about the NICP's events last 2024 and their upcoming events this 2025. Then nakita ko yung post ni Doc Joy, sabi nga ni Ma'am Rose is MJ Abueg. So nakita ko na nag-talk pala si Ma'am Rose sa NICP Mindacon. Yeah, so nakita ko siya doon sa Mindacon. Nag-talk siya. And then last week when I interviewed Miss Athena or Atcha Abe, na-mention niya rin si Ma'am Rose na nagkasama ko sa isang startup din sa edukasyon.
Sa edukasyon.
Yes. And then ito with Sir Paul, what do you call him po? Pawi?
Pawi.
Pawi. Yes.
Pawi.
Because, last 2023, together with my team of the local government unit, we visited Iligan City and benchmarked their ICT initiatives there. Kung ano bang mga projects and proposals ang pwede namin i-apply dito sa LGU namin. So, yun ang mga background kung paano ko siya nakita sa LinkedIn. And aside from that, meron din siya mga talks, not only in NICP, but in various organizations and universities as well. So, hello Ma'am Rose. Pwede kang mag-share ng iyong story.
Hello, Oscar. Maraming salamat po sa pag-invite sa akin dito sa Tech Tribe Podcast. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, my story is started my engagement in the tech community when I went to Manila to explore for my career career path, and it's a new thing for me to be in Manila, and there are new jargons, maraming jargons like innovation, incubation, tech, startups, and a lot of things. And during that time, I was with a healthcare international consultancy, focused on healthcare. And my boss told me, Rose, come up with an incubation program for healthcare innovation. Like, what? What is incubation? The only incubation that I know is yung sa itlog, di ba? Yung sa
yes.
Di ba? Then he exposed me to a lot of conferences, ganyan, yung mga talks about incubation, technology, and healthcare innovation. And I also did a lot of readings, watching YouTubes, ganyan. So I learned by doing. And sabi ko, okay, how can I start my incubation program? So nag-cold email ako, I sent a message sa isang website na Social Innovation Camp. Nag-send ako ng cold email. Alam mo yung message us, yung doon lang. Then nag-message ako, hi, can I bring Social Innovation Camp in the Philippines? Okay. And then, and fortunately, nag-respond yung parang organizer and founder ng Social Innovation Camp. Like, this is interesting. It's good. We actually have a Filipino participants who came in Singapore to join the Innovation Camp. Yes. And that person, the name of Andrew Tan. Andrew Tan. I don't know where he is right now. But he introduced me to a lot of people because he also wanted me to succeed in organizing the Social Innovation Camp. So I said, okay, I will focus on healthcare innovation because yun yung focus ng organization. So I organized the Social Innovation Camp for healthcare in the Philippines. And that's my first time na talagang hands-on ako sa tech and startups and how we do innovation, how do we do the process of creating a solution for a certain social problem. So doon na yung nag-start yung journey ko. And there are projects that I also implemented, like innovative apps for healthcare workers, and we implemented that in Caloocan. Somehow it went well, and then the sustainability becomes a problem. But the good thing is that project received an award. It's like
Okay.
there's international social innovation and social innovation fund, ISIF Asia, who give us an award for that innovation for community, like for community development. Parang ganun. And because of that, na-expose na naman ako ulit sa new thing, the internet governance.
Okay, internet
So, lahat na
governance.
ng tech, lahat na ng tech ito. So, my background kasi is economics and then management. So this is a new thing for me, coming from someone who is who came from Tagum City, my hometown, no, in Mindanao. And then the previous projects that I was implementing is yung community development, pero doon sa mga bundok ng Arakan, in North Cotabato, in South Central Mindanao, President Rojas, yung mga klaseng ganong projects, which is community development. Ngayon, iba na yung community development na alam ko. Kasi itong community development na alam ko is a tech community development. So I can call myself a community builder, but it's a different community building compared dun sa community development work that I do before dun sa mga social work na with NGOs. So even my friends was asking, Rose, what do you do? Ano ba yung ginagawa? Parang complicated. So parang we are functioning in a different world, and ang hirap i-explain, alam mo yun? Like, yeah, I'm a program manager, but what do you do? Why do you speak to a lot of conferences and events? Why do you go abroad? Why do you have a free trips to Europe, ganyan, US, ganyan. So I cannot explain to them na because of internet governance, because of startups, because of innovation. That's why I was able to do that, because I became an advocate of internet governance. So I became first an open internet for democracy leader in the Philippines for it's a global fellowship. I'm the only one from Asia, and because of that, I became a member of the United Nations Internet Governance Forum Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, di ba? Para even now,
Wow,
parang complicated.
bigatin Mabigatin mo, ma.
Parang complicated to explain, di ba? So,
Yes.
yung mga ganon. But it all boils down to being an advocate and being passionate about technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And that also happened kasi I came home in Davao City and I just organized events like monthly meetups to bring women in tech, entrepreneurs, programmers, developers. Because of my experience as social innovation camp, I know that this is a good platform for them to meet each other and come up with a solution, discuss a particular problem, and be able to work together to come up with an innovative solution, right? Like a founder can meet his co-founder with this kind of meetups. And it is weird because when I came back in Davao, when I say, okay, let's organize a meetup, like, what is meetup? Kasi before, yung meetup na alam namin sa Davao City, yun yung magmi-meet kay sa mall. Tapos
Yes.
meet up mo kasi bibilhin mo yung cellphone.
Yes.
Di ba? Yung ganong meetup. So sabi, what's meetup? And wala pang Viber masyado. So, yung meetup kasi sa tech, in the tech community is, we just go and meet each other, networking. And you cannot say it's networking kasi even the word networking has a negative connotation,
Yes.
right? So yung mga jargons which are really like different from like the traditional, or when you go to like meet with your mga friends before na hindi sila exposed sa mga ganon, it's something new to them. But it's good thing na there is already an existing community in Davao City that is into tech startups. Kasi meron ng mga startup weekends before na na-organize. Then medyo naglaylo lang. So when I came back to Davao, I started organizing startup weekend. So I have organized like 4 startup weekends since 2018. I came there. And I organize some monthly meetups for women, not necessarily for just women in tech, but for any women, whether they are creatives, whether they are entrepreneurs, or whether they are just a book writer or have an idea who they wants to share. And we call it Women Night.
Women Night. Ano ba?
Yes, Women Night. Because I learned that in the US, there's an Ignite Talks. Ignite Talk. It is a monthly meetup. Ignite Talk, which you will present your idea in 20 slides for 20 minutes.
Para siyang pitching.
Yes, para siyang pitching. So short lang. So in a one session, one activity na 2 hours, meron akong 3 speakers. So I look for 3 women. Hey, do you have an idea to share? Whether it's your business, whether it's about mindfulness, it's not necessarily about tech. So may mga team. Like February is about love.
Yes.
So I want to invite. So doon ako nag-start, and I don't have a job during that time. And that is how I started my community building journey. Like how do you bring these people together, especially if these people are new to these jargons, they're new to this approach of just go there and pitching. And I'm so happy to hear that there are already women who started presenting during those meetups that I organized. They're already leaders right now. They're already community leaders, and they have been organizing their own events. So that's a good, kumbaga, yan yung return on investment ko, not financially. Yeah, because that time I don't have a job. Like I just want to do what I want to do, and that is where I am passionate about. And that is also one of the reason na napansin ako in the tech community. So yun na, doon na nag-start yung mga Europe trips ko, US, yung pag-join ko sa UN Internet Governance Forum, because that global platform kasi will invite people who are doing something at the local level, on the ground, that can help us develop the productive use of the internet, the productive use of technology, and the permissionless innovation. So that's what I have been talking for since then, since 2018 when I was in Davao. So, and then because of that, I spearheaded the establishment of a technology business incubation, which is doon sa USEP, sa University of Southeastern Philippines.
Okay.
One of the TBI or Technology Business Incubation in Davao. So ako yung kinuha nila na project na TBI manager kasi nga because of my experience in startups, not to mention that I also worked with Tech Talks before, yung organizer ng Geeks on a Beach.
Sa Geeks, go up.
Yeah. So I worked with Tech Talks for like 18 months and organized the one in Palawan. Yeah, I was part of the team in the Palawan Go Out or Geeks on a Beach. So because of that, yon incubation, and di ba nakapag-study din ako ng incubation because nga dun sa sabi ng boss ko before na you have to learn incubation. And that's it. And then pandemic came, naglaylo ako as in nag-hiatus talaga ako sa tech community. But you know, when people see you na si Rose pag tech community, si Rose yun. So someone approached me from Edukasyon na Rose, we need a tech community builder for the AWS project. So I work as part-time kasi ayoko nang bumalik pa sa employment. Okay, sige, okay lang part-time, ganyan. And then, yun, alam mo yung the energy, parang bumalik yun ulit, reignite ulit yung passion mo. Like, so naging full-time. So naging full-time ko na siya sa Edukasyon. Yeah, it was great, no? It was a great journey. Hanggang sa Wadwani was looking for someone to lead their entrepreneurship program for Mindanao. So, ayun. Kinuha ko na yung opportunity for Mindanao because this is something that I want to do. It's a global organization. It's related to technology, innovation. Parang it's a total package for me as a platform to for my advocacy.
Okay. Ma'am, ito for our audiences. ano ba ang tinatawag na internet governance? Kasi yung kinukwento mo ngayon, doon ka nag-start sa internet governance. Ano ba yun? And kanina napansin ko, ano ba yung permissionless innovation? So, can you share with us yung internet governance and yung permissionless innovation?
Okay, so internet governance, no, is a huge topic on how we run the internet. Okay, when we say governance, it's not just about the government; it's about the people, the stakeholders. That's why we call it multi-stakeholder approach in running the internet. So, like me, like you, we are just user. We are using the internet right now to be able to share this podcast, and that is one example, basic example of productive use of the internet. Now there are a lot of cybersecurity concerns. Again, another is the permissionless innovation, the open innovation by using the internet. Now the question is, who is running the internet? Okay, no one is running the internet, but there are organizations that take the lead in governing the internet. These are the organizations who talk about concerns, issues, policy development, more on the policy development, so that everyone will have access, not just access, but better and safe access to the internet, and reducing the digital divide, because internet is for all. It's already like a human right to have an access to the internet. No, so internet governance is a bigger policy development discussion involving all the stakeholders, the tech community. When we say the tech community, the program developer, the system developer, the network developer, okay, the network operators, not just the Globe or Smart, the government, this internet companies, Google, they are also part of this discussion. So yeah, it's a multi-stakeholder approach to how we run the internet. Run the internet that we want. Permissionless innovation, meaning we don't have to ask the government for us to innovate, come up with our innovation, come up with a solution. Because maybe not that much in the Philippines, but there are countries na kinokontrol ng government nila yung access to the internet. Merong fee for the internet, like using the WhatsApp, using Facebook, you have to pay the government. Naniningil yung government. Okay, so open innovation is having a better access to the internet so that we can create a solution. For example, leveraging AI. How can we make use of AI right now to come up with a solution to a certain problem for the farmers, the agriculture sector, in the medical or the healthcare industry, the transportation industry, right? So giving us the better access and open access to the information that we need or the data that we need so that we can come up with a solution. That's a permissionless innovation.
How about here in the Philippines, ma'am? Do we have any issues about this permissionless innovation? Wala pa naman.
So far, wala pa naman.
So
I
open
think we are, more of the ang pressing needs natin sa Philippines right now is yung digital divide pa rin.
Okay,
Access. Yeah, because the access to the internet, we don't just talk about the access itself, the access only, right? But it's more is how fast is the access, the speed of the access to the internet. Like right now, we are connected, but maybe maglalag, maybe magka-cut in the middle, no? Like in schools, because I'm working with schools, it's difficult to have online training kasi, ma'am, nawala yung Zoom ko, ma'am, nawala yung internet, ma'am, mabagal yung internet, naglalag. Right? So it's not just about the access, but the speed of our internet, the quality of access. Not to mention the areas na wala pang connectivity.
Yes. Kasi dito sa amin, our local government unit is has this area of a mountainous area, or the ICT called it as geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. So these areas, talagang mountainous siya, and the internet cables, hirap silang i-penetrate. No? That's why we tried communicating with the ICT and asked for their assistance in providing internet to these rural areas. yun, fortunately, nabigyan naman kami ng Starlink.
Starlink.
Yes, Starlink. Nabigyan na kami dun, ma'am, ng Starlink. However, the challenges that we are currently facing is yun nga, sometimes the connection, lalo na pagka maulap nga, di ba, the signal itself. And however, when we installed the internet, the Starlink, ay napakadami ng taong lumalabas, napakasigla na doon. Unlike before na, yes, that's the one way of bridging the gap. That's the first step, provide internet.
Right.
So now we are trying to again request the DICT for additional Starlink kasi nagbe-benefit ngayon sa amin is around 300 individuals. Pero yung 300 individuals din pagka hirap pa rin talaga. So hopefully the DICT can again assist us in providing internet access to these rural areas. Kasi yun nga po, tama po yung sinabi nyo na internet is for all. Diba? Internet is for all.
Yeah.
Again, it helps the education sector, the agricultural sector. Now, yung mga bata sa amin doon sa rural area, hindi na sila bumababa ng bundok just to connect with sa internet. Ngayon, nag-stay na sila sa school. Meron nga akong picture, I don't know kung nandito sa laptop ko. May picture doon na magkakasama sila sa kantin. Nag-search sila about sa ganitong assignment nila.
That's good.
Yes.
Ang ganda nun.
Yes, yun yung isa sa mga projects din ng DICT. And I think that's one of community building. Diba? Especially yung mga rural areas natin.
Yeah. So, and you can really see the changes in the community once they are connected to the internet. Otherwise kasi, pag wala silang internet connection right now, naiiwan talaga sila. They will be left behind. Diba? When sa bilis ng development ng technology natin, in 3 to 6 months, AI like triple exponentially, no? Nag-develop. How much more yung walang internet connection? They don't even know what's AI. Tas tayo na nakakaalam ng AI, hirap pa nga tayong mag-catch up. No?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really widening the digital divide kung ganun.
Yes. Yung pong like what nung 2024 kasi ma'am, meron akong talk din about the education, SDG goal na SDG number 4 about the education. And talagang there's a big gap depende sa location ng education. For example, katulad sa mga urban areas in Metro, in Cebu, go compare mo sa mga rural areas, talaga napakalayo. So that's what, based on this the study published by one of the talagang one way of bridging the gap is the internet connection.
Connectivity.
Yes, connectivity. And doon mag-expand
yes.
Innovation, community building, innovations, lahat. Doon na po talaga
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. To ask you more about, balik naman tayo sa mga naunang taon about sa NICP, no? Kasi doon ako naging curious about ano bang meron sa NICP Mindakon.
Okay. So yung Mindanao Conference kasi it's a regular event yan ng NICP, no? And I know Miss MJ when I was with other organization and we help technology business incubators as well. So paikot-ikot kasi kami. So I went to Palawan and then I met MJ, and then yung sa NICP, we as one of the stakeholders kasi ng ICT then the Philippines is to be part of that conference. So I went there and I spoke about the access to how we can improve the entrepreneurship education with the use of technology in the Philippines. And ito naman yung platform by Wadhwani Foundation. Yun yung binabigay namin na free capacity building to our faculty on entrepreneurship, technopreneurship education, to be specific.
Yeah, so ano po, yung mga hindi nakaka-aware sa word na technopreneurship. I think it's combination of technology and entrepreneurship, ano? Kasi
Yes.
commonly we have this entrepreneurship, no? Na it's about the business, ganon. Ma'am, can you please elaborate or expound what technopreneurship is?
Okay. And technopreneurship, again, they're correct, no? It's a combination of technology, innovation, and making use of the technology and innovation with the entrepreneurship. And right now, we have a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses who are using technology and innovation to solve a certain problem in the community or across the globe. And that is what we call it together as technopreneurship. Because we can be an entrepreneur if like we are selling products. Now we are selling products, food, we have a brick and mortar businesses, now for example laundry, for example coffee shop. The difference with the technopreneurship is these are specifically what we call tech startups. No, they are usually startups. They are called startups because they are doing something that has not been tested or invented or created before. That's why it's startup. I'm starting something like Facebook. They were a startup before by Mark Zuckerberg when he was still in college, using the Facebook as a tool to have the students know in the platform know each other, right? The status of the students. And this one is a technology, but he was entrepreneurial in a way that he quit college to pursue this because he know that a lot of people need this solution, the technology, the Facebook technology. So that's the difference between the entrepreneur na not technology driven to the entrepreneur that innovative or scalable, replicable, profitable. That's the characteristics of what we call tech startups. And technopreneurship, our goal is to create and inspire more people to become tech startup founders or build their own business or become entrepreneurs using technology and innovation.
So yung technopreneurship, like what you have said po, no, is combination of technology and innovation, then binibenta or is in a scalable way. And I think aside from Facebook, we also have this Apple, I think, diba? Tesla of Elon, Starlink, yun yung mga startups talaga na Uber, So those are ano ba tawag? Startups.
Canva.
Yeah, Canva, no? Na ano bang istorya niya? Parang hirapan yata siya mag-Photoshop, yun yata istorya nun eh. So, I don't know kung yun yata yung istorya nun, yung sa Canva, na hirap na hirap siya mag-edit, but hindi na tayo gumawa ng napakadaling editing software na web-based na hindi na kailangan mag-install, mag-download ng applications. I think that's the story behind it eh. So, so that's, kasi po, last sem during my nag-schooling din po kasi ako ngayon eh. Yun nga po na ako ang naka-assign to sa technopreneurship talk na presentation. So yun po example namin si Tesla, si Apple, si Grab, si Uber. And here in the Philippines, ano ba ang medyo I cannot say unicorn. I think wala pang unicorn. Pero ano ba ang magandang startup dito na sa Philippines ngayon? Education.
One of the I would mention Orange Apps because I have interviewed Gian Havilona, the founder and CEO of Orange Apps, which is a very good story because he started his company when he was still a student in PUP. And he started us because he was able to find out a pain point. So this is a good thing with technopreneurship because it starts with a problem. And a problem that you can solve with a technology. So that's why it's technopreneurial, right? So he was able to find a problem in PUP, yung pila, ulit pila. That's why it's, yun yung sabi niya, PUP, pila, ulit pila. Kasi walang automation, walang system. So he created a school, payment system na which is nag-evolve na siya na parang complete ano na siya academic platform na siya for schools and universities. And doon nag-start, no? Hanggang sa he was able to learn even yung pag-register sa SEC na hindi niya alam na ganun pala yun. So he was very entrepreneur. He took a risk. He borrowed a phone from his classmate just to test the system. He is an engineer. Kaya napaglaruan niya yun. Yung ganun. And this is a typical Filipino story which we should be proud of. And that's why we are also, with Wadhwani Foundation, we are also passionate of empowering our faculty to guide their students to be someone like Gian. Okay, so Orange Uprise now is a big company. Maybe you can also interview him one day. And I have I learned a lot from his journey then. From student to CEO. Kumbaga, from classroom to CEO story natin. So he is a technopreneur. And as a like engineer becoming a businessman, which is unusual sa atin, di ba, sa Philippines. Diba, mga IT, engineers, we don't expect them to be entrepreneurs, di ba? Kasi nga, magbo-board lang yan, magbo-board exam, and then magiging engineer, and then work abroad kasi there will be higher pay, no? So, the story of Gian is a success story that we can actually showcase for a Filipino technopreneur na student to CEO talaga, which is really good. So yun yung technopreneurship. That's I think is for me a good example of what is technopreneurship.
Yes, ma'am. Based on my reading sa LinkedIn, engineers make a good CEO talaga. So sabi doon, katulad dun sa Apple, I think si Mark is an engineering siya student, si Steve, marami sa US talagang engineer. So talagang meron technicalities when it comes to technopreneurship. And yung mga, I think, yung technicalities na yun, yung talagang sinosolve ng mga technopreneurs natin, engineers natin.
Yeah.
So
even our founder sa Wadhwani, si Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani, he's also an engineer.
Yes,
diba?
Yes.
Oo.
And I think previously, yung mga na-interview ko sa podcast na to, karami sa kanila is IT students, computer engineering students, comsci students, software engineers. Talagang sila yung nag-start ng mga...
Kaya ako unlikely ako kasi, di ba, economics,
pero you can build your own naman, di ba, ma'am? When it comes to tech community talaga, yun, pwede kang doon mag-align. Anyway, yung si Gian pala is, ang original niya is edtech na naging okay, talagang ano ba tawag doon? Scale siya.
Nag-scale siya. Philippines to Southeast Asia.
And nasa na siya ngayon? Baka naman hindi tayo pansinin pag invite natin.
Ano lang siya, nasa QC.
Nasa QC lang siya. Okay. Baka sakali ma-interview natin siya. Anyway,
pwede kong i-share sa iyo yung link na YouTube link na interview ko sa kanya. It's not a public na pinopromote talaga namin kasi para yun sa namin sa platform for the faculty. Yun kasi kaming learning management system platform for the faculty na yun yung itutulong nila sa classroom. And we showcase mga local case studies doon. So, not just Dian, so we also have like other founders that we interview.
So, now, na-mention yung Wadhwani ba ang pronunciation, ma'am?
Wadhwani Foundation.
So, can you share with us, ano ba ang Wadhwani Foundation?
Wadhwani Foundation is founded by Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani. He is a tech billionaire based in Silicon Valley. He's an international American, and he is owner of group of companies which are into AI. So meron siyang SAI Group investment firm, and he committed part of his wealth to the foundation. So that's the Wadhwani Foundation, and it's our goal to change lives through entrepreneurship, upskilling, and innovation and digital transformation. So yun yung Yun yung the vision of our organization is job creation. Because when at least one member of the family will have a sustainable wage, then that family will live a decent life. So that's our like vision of Padwani Foundation. And we can achieve that through employment, become job generator, become entrepreneur. No? So we have entrepreneurship program, we have upskilling program so that we can continue upskill our workforce, right? Because not everyone could be entrepreneur, no? Hindi naman lahat maging business owners. Like siguro 90% would still be employed, but they still need to be upskilled with the latest trends, latest technology, latest competencies that they need to thrive in their workplace. And for the government, digital transformation for the government. And then continuous innovation. That's why we have innovation, research and innovation as well to support that. So our vision is job creation to change lives through these programs.
So ito pa lang si Dr. Wadwani is one of the billionaires, tech startup billionaires in India. So for example, ma'am, since you are providing upscaling programs, trainings, and supports job generation, how can professionals, tech enthusiasts, and mga students can benefit? Meron ba silang kailangang i-provide na mga requirements, or kailangan ba silang mag-email sa inyo, or ano ba ang process?
So the way that we do is Wadwani Foundation will enable and capacitate the universities and colleges. Then sila yung magti-training ng students. And then for other programs, we also work with technology business incubators. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to be incubated, you can enroll in the technology business incubators that we assist. Okay. So meron kaming programs that they can directly join and participate in the training. And there are also programs that they can join through their nearest university or college and technology business incubators. Yung meron kasi kaming program na integrated siya sa curriculum.
Okay.
Integrated siya sa curriculum ng engineers, specifically the technopreneurship subject ng engineers and IT.
Oh, okay. So kung magkaroon pala ako ng subject na technopreneurship, na kasi ako part-time instructor din ako sa Wesleyan. Kapag ka pala, yes po, I'm a part-time instructor at Wesleyan University Philippines. Teaching computer engineering students, ECE, BSIT. And ano pa, 2 years ago, I think may binigay sa aking subject na technopreneurship. Kaya medyo ano. So kung nag-part-time ako as technopreneurship, pwede ba ako mag-apply dyan even though I'm here in zone?
Yes, you can undergo the training. We'll provide the training, all for free, Then all for free. And you can use the learning management platform for your technopreneurship. You're provided with syllabus, lesson plan. And then the platform will have all the content, materials, videos, quizzes, templates.
Buti na lang talaga. Buti na lang talaga. Nakatapat ako kay Ma'am Rose. Ma'am, i-PM nyo sa akin yung link na yan at ano
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a January batch if you want to undergo already. Yeah. Ongoing yung mga refresher namin karon kasi our platform is also updating every now and then. So we have our latest update na with AI na. Empowered by AI na yung aming platform. So yung mga technopreneurship students mo, yung pitch deck nila, it's automatically generated in the platform. You will just guide them. And that is why, because of these AI technologies right now, educators like you will just play like a facilitator. You will facilitate the learning experience of the students. Why? Because you already have the materials, you already have the platform. The students will already undergo. Para lang sila nag-LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, edX dyan. And meron pa sila mga simulation. Yeah? Their financial projection will be automatically generated based on the assumption. Their marketing strategy will be there. Lahat ng concepts nandoon. So ikaw, we will train you to become facilitator. And then just plug and play.
So hindi siya kailangan kung hindi ka man partner ng Wadwani, kung basta technopreneur or hindi naman basta technopreneurship teacher. Or dapat specifically technopreneur teacher ka? O ano ba yun, ma'am?
Join. And then meron naman kasi tayong faculty account, meron tayong student account. So if you want to be a student, so that you can go through this, because we don't know, maybe meron kang potential to teach technopreneurship not this SEM, but maybe in the future. Then you can go the training so that you will be capacitated and able, and then malay natin, you will be a technopreneur in the future as well, right?
Yes.
Then we will be happy with that outcome.
Okay. So ito palang Wadhwani Foundation is talagang LMS siya. LMS siya.
Just one. Okay. Wadhwani Foundation is not equal to LMS, ha?
Okay.
We just provide, that's part of the intervention. That's part of our intervention, of our capacity building intervention to our faculty, so that they can easily deliver the technopreneurship program. Because from there, technopreneurship, we can produce more entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs, and these potential entrepreneurs will become job generators, right?
Yes.
Ang vision natin is job creation.
Yes, domino effect.
Yes, that's the journey. So we have to empower more people here to create more technopreneurs.
How about, ma'am, the curriculum within the LMS? Is it kailangan ba align siya sa sa subject ng school or hindi naman?
Align siya. So there is no curriculum inside the LMS. We can say syllabus or lesson plan.
Yeah, syllabus. Yes.
Right? Because the curriculum is per program, like civil engineering curriculum. Now, sa engineering curriculum, meron kang technopreneurship subject.
Yes.
Check mo yan. Required yan. Right? Required.
Yes.
Okay. So, young technopreneurship is the only entrepreneurship subject ng mga engineering students. If wala silang entrepreneurial mind. Yung iba meron, yung iba wala. No. So, kahit sa isang subject na yan, na technopreneurship, ma-expose sila on using their technology, on using their innovation to solve a particular problem, and they become a business owner of that solution. Then magiging technopreneur sila, kahit na 1% lang. Because that's the only subject na entrepreneurship sa entire curriculum. Now, for them to empower them, it's because it's an option for them. Okay, you either look for a job when you graduate, or you will continue the idea that you created during your technopreneurship subject. That might be like the reason that will change their life. No, we'll never know.
Yes.
The most important thing is we expose them. We give them the opportunity na let them realize na okay, meron palang option na ganito. Pwede ko palang pagkakakitaan yung ginawa kong ano ba yung mga prototype na nire-required sa school, instead of just being a research study lang. Right? Because technopreneurship will integrate business principles and concepts into your innovation, into your invention. So hindi lang siya invention. It becomes a solution to a particular problem. Now, once it solves a particular problem, then people who have those problems are willing to pay to have that solution, right? Pero kung invention lang siya, kahit na gaano kaganda, but it doesn't solve a particular problem, which is yung usual natin na traditional na mga ginagawa ng mga engineers, sino yung bibili nun? Wala. So kaya naka-shelf lang siya. Kaya masyado kaming aggressive ngayon to in empowering faculty to have that mindset, no?
Yes.
Have that mindset na start to integrate to our students. Kasi nga sabi mo, you're correct. Most of our tech startup founders na multinational, they are engineers. And our founder himself, Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani.
Magandang yun, ma'am, magandang intro sa mga talk, yung mga engineering students, no. Kasi to be honest with you, ma'am, here in Nueva Ecija, we have this dilemma of these engineers, graduates, not totally engineers, graduates of IT, information systems, all related to tech, na I can't say na mababa ang entrepreneurial skills nila kasi after graduation nagma-migrate sila sa Manila for apply sila as software developers, ganyan. And dito sa amin bihira ang startups, una best talagang wala. Within the region 3 wala rin. Kahit pasabihin natin na nga po yung mga thesis nila, mga ideas nila, napakaganda. Meron ng isang application doon na inimbento, pet dating app. Diba? Napaka yung mga ideas nila na pet dating app.
No, may mga pet dating. May mga pet dating apps pa sila, no?
Apo,
The question is, do they have a market for that? That's part of their technopreneurship joining nila. Part yan ng subject na kailangan nilang, okay, gusto mo ng pet dating apps. Sige, go to your target customer kung kailangan ba talaga nila yan.
Yeah, yun
Validation.
So ang sabi naman nila, ang kanilang target market, yun talaga nag-aalaga ng mga pets. For example, mga dogs, cats, yung mga ganyan. So ang nangyari, natapat na yung kanilang panel is may alagang I don't know kung anong breed ng aso niya. Ay, doon sila pinagtatanong ng tinanong. Lahat na lang gusto i-integrate doon sa application. So that's one of the ideas, and meron pa doon naman yung in agriculture, yung kanilang source ng tubig is yung sa may mga dumi ng isda, parang ganon. So may mga ganon silang ideas. And yun po since ako po ngayon ang tinuturo is seminars, that's one of the seminars that I want to implement for my students. Kasi gaya nga po sinabi nyo, I think we have to start with that kind of mindset na they can sell yung mga kanilang mga ideas. Kasi napakadaming talent dito sa amin na nagpupunta sa metro just to have this employment. Though I'm not saying naman na masamang maglumabas, but if they have this technopreneurial idea, mindset na sinasabi nyo, yung from classroom to CEO, I think mangyayari din. So
another thing is, even if they won't be business owners when they graduate, or even like they will choose to work in an organization. Once they develop that entrepreneurial mindset, because entrepreneurial mindset will include the competency to be problem solver, a person who takes initiative, creative, flexible, agile, right? When you get these competencies, even if you work in an organization, the entrepreneurial mindset kasi now, hindi lang siya kailangan para sa mga business owners. It is required for all. Kahit na nag-work ka sa because how are you going to prosper towards your career goal, career path in an organization if you are not entrepreneurial, if you are not a problem solver? Like me, let's say if I'm not an entrepreneur in Wadhwani Foundation, inside the organization, my role is also to be an intrapreneur, because I have to find the universities and colleges who would need this solution that we offer, who would need our help. I would need a competency that will take initiative, like go there, find them, where are they, right? I also need to be creative, so that good negotiator, all these soft skills that we need, these are all entrepreneurial. These are the skills that an entrepreneur need. So whether they want to be a business owner or not, they still need this, and they need to undergo this subject seriously. Yun yung sabi ko, they have to take this subject seriously talaga.
Yes, you are very correct in that sense, ma'am. Anyway, nung nag-check ako sa inyong LinkedIn, you have this National Productivity Conference talk on bridging the gender AI divide. Ano po ba yun? What's with this bridging the gender AI divide?
Okay, very good. So meron tayong digital divide. Yung disparity, no, between the access to the internet from this community, this area, from this area. Now, dagdagan natin yan ng gender. Okay. Maybe in the Philippines, hindi natin masyadong feel, no? Like other countries, like Africa, masyado nilang feel kasi yung mga women, for example, they are not allowed to use cell phones, they're not allowed to use technology, right? Kaya medyo may gender divide. Now, dagdagan pa natin ng AI. Kasi sa AI ngayon, alam ba sa AI ngayon, napansin ko din when I was looking at AI agencies, most of the AI agencies na founder, they are men, mostly men. Kasi nga, even sa mga courses natin on IT, software developer, mas marami pa rin yung men. Now, what if yung nagdi-develop ng AI are men? Let's say 60% or 70% of AI are developed by men. There will be a gender divide kasi yung perspective ng women might not be integrated into that AI. Now, ethical use of AI. Is it gender sensitive? Yung mga ganon. So that's another thing. No, that's another thing. But the thing is, AI skills, technology skills, digital skills, mas marami pa rin men. I will ask you, sa mga na-interview mo na dito sa Tech Tribe, ilan yung men, ilan yung women?
Most
Ito pa yung
are
right? And even tingnan mo ngayon, yung mga, if you take a look at AI experts, ilan lang dyan yung women. And ito pa yung nakakatuwa. Okay, I'm not sure if I have to say that. So my conference ako na pinuntahan, present lang, nung December. We talk about AI. Alam mo yun, for the rest of 2 days, for the 2 days na conference, dalawa lang yung women na speaker. They're not even like an expert speaker, but they're there to give a welcome remarks, message of support. And I'm like, where are the women? Can we even give them a moderator role in this discussion of AI? So that's what I talk about. And I was happy that I was invited in that conference kasi ako lang din yung babae doon na speaker who are talking about AI. Okay? Even that, it became obvious, the gender, AI, digital divide. So it became more complicated. Before, digital divide lang. And then merong gender digital divide. Tapos na pumasok na sa AI, meron pang AI,
Gender.
AI gender digital divide. Sabi ko nga, oh my God, how can I frame this na nag-speak ako?
Saan ba kanina?
In 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Sa ano yun? Sa Ortigas. Sa Ortigas yun. Crown Regency. Yata. Yung conference.
Okay.
Sa Ortigas yun.
Doon sa sinasabi niyo po na 60% are programmers or developers ng AI, I think that could result din sa yung tinatawag na AI bias no? Kung iba ang input ng iba ang view ng mga men sa women, then kung ang result ng prompt mo, I think is if you're a woman, then ang gumawa ng is men, there could be nga a bias sa result which is hindi fit sa kailangan ng mga women natin.
Exactly. And knowing that 40% of the software right now are already programmed by AI. Diba? So parang domino effect. So yung kung ang programmer mo is men, tas yung software mo, ang programmer mo ng AI is men, tas ang software mo is developed by AI. So meron siyang domino effect. On the bias, correct. Yeah.
So when it comes to AI, ano pong nakikita niyong magiging effect nito sa technopreneurship? Kung ano bang positive and negative impact niya?
Okay, pros and cons of AI. For me, AI is so powerful. Powerful siya sobra. So technopreneurship, it will make your life easier in terms of identifying the problem. Because with AI, a lot of data already, you can just ask GPT, other AI tools, okay, to gather the problem for you, to even recommend solutions for you. When I think when AI was when GPT was launched na pang totally public na, thousands of ventures were launched as well. Kasi ang bilis na lang mag-marketing research, ang bilis na come up with a marketing strategy, come up with a solution, come up with a competitors competition mapping. Because AI can already give you this information, which you will spend like 6 months before you will spend 6 months to have this data on your hand, right? Who are my competitors? What are they doing? What are the features? How can I improve my marketing strategy? Right now, you just sit down, spend your 1 day talking to your AI assistant, and you will have this information. So that's the positive advantage for me. Second is, the negative advantage, if you don't learn how to use AI, that's the advantage, diba? Sabi nga, we will not be replaced by AI. But if we don't know how to use AI, then we are at risk. That's why we have to master AI. They say we cannot master AI. Yes, okay. We cannot master AI because it's evolving so fast, like triple exponential, exponential. But we have to learn, at least catch up, that whatever AI that we have right now, make use of that. Whether you are an educator, whether you are a student, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a housewife, a mother, a student. No? Because kids right now, magiging yung, anong tawag ng mga kids natin yan, Generation X. Yung mga elementary natin.
Yes. Meron na nga pong ngayon, nabasa, Gen Beta na pinanganak ng 2024 eh.
Oh, Gen Beta. Kasi yung mga Gen Beta, yan na yung tools nila. GPT na yung tools nila, hindi na Google. Right? Wala na Google. Okay, GPT ko na lang, ma'am. I'll GPT. Sabi ni GPT, ma'am. Ganyan. Di ba? Now, tayong mga millennial, nasa ano pa ako ng millennial, I have to catch up kasi di naman ako nag-start as GPT. I have to learn this. So masyadong mabilis that if we don't really have to catch up in using this yung AI tools, then we'll be replaced. It's still a double-edged sword, right? Double-edged, just like internet before, just like technology before. Na I don't like internet because of data privacy, cybersecurity, and all. Well, it's up to you. If you feel not safe in the internet, you see in the internet, then don't be. But you will also suffer by not using that, by not leveraging. That's why we call it leverage. Leverage the use of the technologies that we have right now.
Okay. So, tama po yun. Yung mga Gen Beta ngayon, talagang yun ang magiging tools nila. Paglaki nila, they will be a AI, tawag dito, AI-powered na yung mga batang ito. Talaga naman.
Yeah.
Di ba? So, like what you have said, no? The housewives can use AI na rin. For example, hindi sila aware sa ganitong, menu. I-search nila si AI, ano bang kailangan dito?
Hirap kaya mag-menu planning for the week.
Oh, yes, di ba? Pwedeng mag-generate ng AI ng mga ganyan.
Correct.
Especially sa mga
education. Yung anak ko, for example, sabi niya, Ma, can I ask for 400 pesos? Do you have GCash 400 pesos? Sabi ko, why? Why? Where are you going to invest? Saan mo i-invest yung 400 pesos? Alam mo, pinadalhan niya ako ng screenshot ng GPT answer. Sinearch na doon kung ano yung investment ng game na to. Kasi gusto niya palang ibili ng game. Yung 400. So, nag-search muna siya sa GPT if this game is an investment. So, syempre naman si GPT, yes, this game is an investment for yourself because this will give you blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Sabi ko, okay, I will transfer this cash.
Talagang investment yung term, o ano siya, parang bibili lang ng gamit, parang ganon. In-game,
Oo. Kasi sabi ko, saan mo invest yung 400? So, invest niya sa game. Pero tinanong niya si GPT kung investment ba talaga yung game na yon.
Okay.
So, ganun na sila.
Galing ng mga bata talaga ngayon. Anyway, yun nga po, when it comes to education, may nabasa nga po ako sa education, yung mga estudyante, na doon na rin sila gumagawa ng codes sa GPT, bibigay ng codes, napakadali mag-produce na ng mga prototype websites nila. Sa mga teachers naman, ganoon din. Ako po ay, when it comes to curriculum guide, ay meron lang bibigay sa akin, gagamitin ko rin si GPT to provide. Hindi lang si GPT, kung kailangan natin more scholar ang dating, nandiyan si Gemini, nandiyan si Perplexity. Napakadaming AI assistance ngayon.
Marami.
Na if you are not aware or hindi ka gumagamit, talaga mapag-iiwanan ka talaga.
True.
So,
correct. Yeah.
So, ito ma'am.
We have to learn.
Last few questions na lang po. What are your upcoming engagements, projects, and events?
For now, we'll focus more on faculty assistance pa rin on developing, in delivering technopreneurship program. And we are launching another program for the technology business incubators for our lift off. Ito naman yung isusupport namin yung mga technopreneurs to look for funding for their venture. Okay, and we partner right now as well with the DOST. We are also capacitating our DOST personnel across the Philippines. Ongoing yung training namin ngayon to capacitate the DOST personnel on technopreneurship so that we can also mentor our universities and schools in terms of technology and innovation. Yun yung focus ko ngayon. And then on the side, continue mentoring students, no? In terms of technology, innovation, entrepreneurship. So that's
meron akong naging guest dito, ma'am, si Ivan from CDO. I think baka kilala niyo siya.
Ivan
Chavez, the founder of pangalan to? Fresco Innovations yata yun. Startup founder din siya from CDO. I think he's looking for a funding din siguro about agriculture yung kanyang startup eh. So
okay, sige. I will ask the TBI to invite him to be part of the Lift Off program.
Yeah, kasi po ano siya nag-talk na rin siya sa DOST, I think, sa anong region ba yung Cagayan de Oro? 10 or 11?
10.
Nag-talk na yata siya doon and invited na siya ng DAR, ng DA, and meron na rin siya mga funding, but again, parang bitin yata siya.
To scale up, no? Kailangan niya ng funding to scale up.
Yes. So,
that's good that you mentioned.
And
na
ano siya naging sumikat siya doon sa kanyang one-man thesis sa agriculture na yung kanyang startup is a device na para siyang mga cameras na kukunin niya yung volume ng lettuce, yung dahon ng lettuce. And then, pagka nakuha niya yung volume ng lettuce, ito yung magiging output niya. Ito yung magiging produce niya.
Nice.
So, and then, pagka
interesting.
Predictive model siya, pag nakita niya ito yung magiging output niya, pwede niya ibenta kaagad na after the harvest, meron na siya direct market.
Tapos ma-project na niya kung magkano harvest. Yes. Interesting.
So, I think I can isabihin ko sa kanya na magkasama naman kayo dyan sa malapit na ba bang Davao sa Cagayan? Malapit.
8 hours, but I will be in Cagayan naman mga 2 weeks from now. Okay. Kasi I will go around for the launching of our Lift Off program. Yeah. And another thing as well that I forgot to mention. So I'm now the lead in the Asia Women for Internet Governance. Women in Internet Governance. Because we want also to encourage more women participation in the internet governance space, the policy development for the internet.
Ma'am, member ba kayo ng Women in Tech kila Attorney Giselle? Ang DIC?
I'm not active. Parang hindi pa ako naka-join ng meet up or ano ba.
Okay. Kasi po, nandun din sila, I don't know if kilala mo, sila Doc Joy ata member din eh. Doc MJ Abuid ng NIC.
Is it Facebook group?
No, meron silang talaga official, not totally group, meron silang official Women in Tech Alliance yata ang tawag doon. Tech Alliance. Yeah. Sila?
Okay. I think na-invite ako niyan noong October tapos hindi ako nakapunta. Meron sa Davao, parang Diwa.
Diwa yata. Diwa. Isa yata yun eh. Kaya silang Diwa.
Oo.
Doon sila sila Colonel Francel sa cybersecurity ng AFP. Yun.
Na-invite ako noon mga October siguro. Yun yung ako sa Manila na mga events din eh. So hindi ako naka-join. Baka yun.
Anyway, ma'am, do you have any, since you have shared what your engagements will be these coming days, what are your advocacies positive from that? Meron pa ba? Or your mga messages na lang sa mga estudyante?
And my advice, not just to students, but even to our peers right now. I'm an advocate kasi of a lifelong learning.
Okay, lifelong learning.
yeah, we have to continuously learn, because all this experience that we have, all the experience that I have right now, I cannot achieve it without learning. Okay, learning through reading, watching, listening, learning from from the people that we look up, and learning by doing.
Mm-mm.
Yun is
Mm-mm.
the key. Learning by doing. Kasi if we won't catch up with all the developments right now, technology, economy, what's happening right now, talagang mapag-iwanan tayo. So keep on learning, keep on looking for opportunities to learn, to find your mentors, to find a community where you think that you can meet with like-minded individuals and people that you want to connect with. Yeah, and that's it.
Ma'am, nabanggit mo kayo na-interview mo meron ka bang YouTube channel din? Or wala?
Wala na. Meron akong YouTube channel pero hindi ko ano yun, mga adventure ko yun. So,
Adventure. So, yeah.
before pala kasi, when I started Women-Powered Stories, pero hindi ko na siya na-continue. It was before pandemic. So, it was interviewing women.
Ooh.
Women, kasi di ba nag-women night ako. Na parang event siya. So, yung Women-Powered Stories is parang ganito, parang podcast na I interview about their life and any lessons that they want to share. Hindi ko na siya na-continue kasi dami ko ginagawa.
Yes. Yeah, that's it for my podcast, I think, ma'am. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
Oscar. Thank you, Oscar, for the opportunity. I really appreciate this. And all the best to you. Keep going, keep growing, Oscar.
And
this is
ma'am,
a great platform.
I'm hoping that hindi dito nagtatapos ang ating kwentuhan. No, I'm hoping that some other time, I'm thinking of this, sinabi niyo Women Night, na baka pwede magkaroon ako ng episode or season where I only invite women in tech, di ba? I think that's a very nice season, I think.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, parang mo.
Ma'am, thank you very much.
Thank you, Oscar.
I
had fun. God bless. And have a great weekend. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.